All right. So this is day 5 of the 5-day activist challenge. Um, I'm really new at Facebook Live. You're all witnessing my very first Facebook Live, and so yeah, I'm an old person and don't know how to do this. My name's Les Weiler, and I am the membership director for Texas Normal. It's a position I recently took over. Some of you may know me as the merchandise director previously, so you knew me from across the table. But I stepped down from that a year or two ago, and am now membership director. So, thank you all for doing the 5-day challenge. Let's talk a little bit about what all we did this week. On day 1, you checked out whether or not you could vote. It's really the first part of this conversation every time. On day 2, you found out who you had elected, either on purpose or inadvertently. Some of you, that was good news. For a lot of you in Texas, that was not. The best part about the cannabis conversation right now is that it's actually good news for more of you than it ever has been before, whether your people are Republican or Democrat or something in between or something off the spectrum, whatever. A whole lot more politicians are in favor of reforming this law in Texas. So on day 3, you called those people's offices and found out what their real problems were with cannabis legislation reform. On day 4, you wrote a letter with Aquila about those concerns specifically. Because a huge part of this is not assuming that you know what freaks them out about changing pot law. You may not know. You may be surprised. There have been times where I guessed, oh, this person probably really wants to hear about medical. And maybe they didn't. Maybe they wanted to hear about criminal justice reform. You don't know. This issue hits a lot of various political stripes, and you got to be ready for what their real concern is, and that's what you learned on day 4. So today, we're going to talk about cannabis conversations. And I know a lot of you think, man, I have a lot of cannabis conversations. That's not what I mean. A lot of times, I do it too. All my friends are in favor of this, and we just stand around and you quote Bible verses and constitutional law and all the stuff that we've learned over our lifetimes about why it is absolutely ridiculous that this is illegal on so many levels. And it's just preaching to the choir. And it ultimately, over years, has left me feeling powerless and frustrated. Because there's only so many times that you can think, we're dead on right about this, and not being listened to. So, that's not what I'm talking about when I mean cannabis conversations. I don't mean later on today when you're talking to your friends that are for it and you go, man, the ledge, why don't they get it? What I'm talking about is a conversation for action. What can we do specifically that will actually move this forward? And I don't like the reality of how politics in Texas work. I don't think anybody does. Even the people that work there, I don't think are entirely thrilled with the process. But looking at what's happening on the ground and how law moves in Texas, we can't sign petitions. We can't just do direct action like that. We've got to work through the ledge. That only happens every 2 years. So we've got this gap right now where frequently the energy just saps out of a movement. So, what can we do? Conversations for action. Some of you live in areas where your DA and your local police have programs that either cite and release or divert. It's not fixed. It's not where we need to stop. But it's better than the status quo. And in this gap, we can be working on things like that. And I, as membership director, am going to move forward on putting together educational packages and things that we can do in this gap that will make it better where you live and give us small victories that we can build on so that our energy stays strong all the way through next session. We're going to have conversations for action directly, where I want each of you, we've got about 450 people that were on this email today. I want all 450 of you to email me at members@texasnormal.org. and you're going to send me what you think you can add to the movement, what you see at your local level, anything you think is constructive and positive that we can try to work together towards, because feeling alone and feeling powerless on this sucks. And as a volunteer, I found a tool called Texas Normal that already has some organization on the ground at the Capitol that we can use to move the legislation. We can get local officials changed. We can get the handful of people that are up for re-election changed if they aren't with us. More Republicans are with us than we realize. Their party platform allows for expansion on a lot of this. I don't believe that the Texas Ledge is going to allow a mistake they made, misunderstanding hemp, to accidentally legalize this. I also grew up in a dry town in a wet county in Texas, and I know a lot of y'all know what that means. It means that even though alcohol was legal, Texas found a way to make it weird. So even if the feds legalize weed, I don't personally believe that Texas will just let that stand, and we are still going to need to be ready no matter what happens in the next 2 years. We're going to need to be ready for the ledge next session, and we're going to need to do it together. So I want you to go out this week, and when you end up in that preaching to the choir conversation, I want you to stop them and straight up ask if they will come together with you to make use of this tool that we have to lobby at the ledge and to really fight for change on this, because I want this to be a conversation. I'm a volunteer, you can be a volunteer, but I know that there are people that support our cause and are with you on this that aren't really with you on this. And their energy and your energy could be together. You can send me an email at members@texasnormal.org. I'd like you to tell me what you want to add to the movement, what you want done. I mean, obviously we all want legal access for adults in Texas, but I want to know what's going on at your local level. I want to know what we can get done across the state so that every politician who thinks that they're against us on this can go back home to their constituency on a break and see that the local level has changed, that the ground under them is firm if they want to move on this position. We can do this together. A basic membership for Texas Normal is $20. And I know there are people who don't want to ask for money, but it costs money to do things like track all of the weird changes to hemp law and get all of this done. And we want to do it. And I want to get it done. That's why I stepped up as volunteer to be membership director. That's why I'm reaching out to every one of you, and I want you to get back with me. We're going to have a conversation about this, and we're going to get this done. This 2 years is not going to lose our strength. This 2 years is going to gain us momentum, and we're going to come at the ledge next session so ready that they won't know what hit them. Are you with me? You can go to texasnormal.org/join right now and throw in. You can talk to all your friends this week, and we can get this done. Thanks.